Okay, so as promised, this is the final reaction video to my experience after seeing the Power Rangers movie. Um, there's actually a lot to discuss here, and I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as best as I can, so if you haven't seen the movie, don't worry about it. Um, I'm not really going to try and spoil anything specific here. I might say a few things here, but nothing that will really get you off the edge. This movie was okay. It was exactly what I was expecting it to be, unfortunately, which was a popcorn flick. It had some action, but not as much as I was hoping that it would have. It had a lot of character development, that's for sure, and that's the whole reason why people are putting this movie down right now. I have seen quite the reviews on this movie now. I tried to stay spoiler free as best as I could to up to seeing the movie, which I did successfully. And after seeing the movie, I can definitely see what people are talking about now, and it's really not that good at this moment. It's like getting 4 out of 10. The highest I think I've seen it come to is a 7 out of 10. Uh, Rotten Tomatoes obviously is being rotten to it. Um, there's a lot of other sites out there. Metacritic is not giving it its benefit of the due. It's unfortunate, but I guess this was to be expected. I mean, what do you really expect coming from a kids' television show that's corny as all hell, to be perfectly honest with you? The fact that they kept me entertained for 25 plus years is simply amazing. But with that said, yes, this is a kind of a switch in mood for Power Ranger fans. This isn't really targeted for kids. I mean, it does have some key plays in there where it's specifically meant for kids, but this is one of those movies where it starts out with, child's play, and then it develops into a darker story path, which, tell you the truth, is what I was hoping that this would actually do. This would actually be the Power Rangers something that will finally be targeted to a much mature, older audience that grew up watching Power Rangers since Mighty Morphin debuted back in 1993. And it kind of does that in a way, but then it also still plays out with some corny jokes and some really silly parts that, outside of just a couple of cracks and a smile on my face, I got to tell you the truth. After settling down after the hype of seeing the movie, I got to say some of the stuff really shouldn't have been in there. You shouldn't have the Megazord tripping all over the place. Yeah, getting a hold of it at first, yeah, sure, okay, I get that. But coming off of a point where it's like supposed to be really intense, you're in the heat of the battle, and you're fighting to survive or basically to keep the planet alive, and you're going to trip all over the place and pop a joke here and there. Nah, I don't think that's actually going to work. And I can see why people are now talking about this movie the way they do. And, to tell you the truth, I gotta say it. I gotta play it as it lies right here, unfortunately, because you had this coming. This is what you wanted from me, so here's my overall thoughts and opinions. The movie is gonna at least get a 6 out of 10 from me. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was a flop. I wouldn't even say it was mediocre or average. It was slightly above average. Let's be perfectly honest here. The best part about this movie was Alpha 5. I know a lot of people don't like the design of the characters, especially Alpha. Some people even question Rita Repulsa's design, her costume. Heck, people still can't get used to the Power Ranger suits themselves, and they're not really suits. They're actually armor, as they said in the movie, like crystallized armor. As a matter of fact, the morpher doesn't play out anywhere in this movie at all. There's no, it's morphing time like this, like the old fashioned way. Nope, it's basically they just step onto the morphing grid plates, basically, and the pattern and design of their suits start crystallizing, and just, it adapts to them and it becomes their body, basically. That kind of morphing sequence, which was okay. I actually like that. That was nice CGI effects, pretty cool, nice digital effects. The digital effects in this movie was a lot better than what we had back in 1995. And we're talking about a movie that came out later on after the whole hype and excitement of Jurassic Park and their digital effects and their other kind of effects that they would use, like puppets and all that. And I mean, that was an atrocious mess. I mean, what the heck were they doing there? But anyway, yes, the digital effects totally made up for that garbage back in 1995. The Megazord looked sweet. Gotta tell you the truth, the Zords look pretty good. Even the Mastodon. I can't believe the Mastodon got most of the play role out of the Zords in this movie, which was amazing. I did not see that coming at all. I mean, this was the Zord that I insulted since its actual first appearance. And the fact that it actually got all the spotlight out of all the Zords is freaking amazing. It's just shocking to me. If only you could see my face right now. So let me just go ahead and tell you basically the specifics of what this movie's all about. So the story about this, it's not that hard to understand. It's actually quite intriguing, and what's definitely going to lead into the next movie, the sequel, if there is going to be one. But right now, as it stands, that's not looking too good. I mean, it's like a long shot, but there's still time. This is just the opening day on this movie. And basically, to sum this up as quickly as possible, the movie is it's a whole entire story arc all reciting with Power Rangers Zeo. You've got the Zeo crystal, which basically is somewhat like the core of the planet that it resides on. And there's like, I don't know how many crystals they said. Like in Zeo, there were 6 crystals. I don't know if there's 6 in this one, but every planet resides with one, and it's kind of like the life support of the planet. So if the crystal was taken away, it would destroy the planet. As I think Billy said in the movie, it would be like, I don't know, 1,000 suns going off, something like that, like a nuclear bomb, like times a million. So yeah, bad things. That's like worse news. But yeah, that's the whole premise of this movie. It's the chase for the Zeo Crystal, or basically to find the Zeo Crystal and to defend it or to obtain it. That would be the side of evil, trying to obtain it. So that's basically Rita Repulsa's goal since the very beginning of this movie. Basically, at the beginning, she is the original Green Ranger. She betrays her original team. She kills them all. Zordon doesn't survive either. He like some kind of physical form decked out in the alien ship that I'm calling the command center. Something Alpha 5 did that saved Zordon's memory and some kind of what of his form. And throughout this whole movie, Zordon's basically looking to find new heroes, new Ranger team, and for quite the opposite, to tell you the truth. This Zordon is somewhat selfish, and I'm not going to spoil anything beyond that. You need to see this movie in order to figure out what I'm talking about, so I will leave it at that. The Rangers, the actors were okay. The actresses were good as well. I really didn't see any problems. I didn't feel like anyone was lacking thereof. I got to say, Billy stole the show when it comes to the Rangers themselves. I think the Blue Ranger was the better one. Had most of the screen time. I got to say, he had most of the use, and I mean real use in this movie. Jason was, the born leader, to tell you the truth. That's the way it was meant to be. Kimberly was just the showgirl, I suppose. Zach was, he had a goal, basically. It was just his miserable life that he was trying to get away from, basically. And Trini, on the other hand, she was just there. I'll tell you the truth. I really have no reason why Trini was outside of being a original Power Ranger from the original show. I really have no story behind Trini at all. Something like I remember the scene at the campfire where she was basically talking about how she failed 3 schools. She got kicked out of all 3 and then ended up in Angel Grove, and then that's basically her story. Something like that I missed. Trini is, again, like I said, mysterious. Now, Kimberly, her story background is something about some kind of photo she uploaded, and it was embarrassing to a friend or something like that. I may have missed that, but look at me going into detail when I said I wasn't going to do that. Sorry, sorry, sorry. But basically, you have your teenagers with attitude right there. All of them in trouble. All of them in detention, except for maybe Zach and Trini. I don't remember seeing Trini in detention. And outside of that, it's kind of like the Breakfast Club, only with superpowers. And I see a lot of people talking about that too. So I'm also in that predicament, unfortunately. I don't want to say this movie was a letdown, because it wasn't. It was actually a nice movie. It was fun to watch, maybe even twice, to be honest. It was, like I said, a popcorn flick. It's not going to result to anything special, but I will say it's up there with some of the good movies that I did enjoy so far this year, which isn't that much, to tell you the truth. Goldar was absolutely a waste of time. I mean, I got used to the design finally, the melty, goldy cheese goodness that he is. But uh, you know, there's a whole plethora of reasons as to why Goldar shouldn't have been in this movie at all. But he only served one purpose, and that was to obey Rita's commands. Basically, he was the one to dig up the Zeo crystal, which was buried at, oh dear God, a Krispy Kreme in Angel Grove. And this movie has a lot of promoting for Krispy Kreme, so if you are very much into Krispy Kreme donuts, there you go. This is your product placement. This is what you came here for. Not much action. Not much action at all. Outside of a couple of funny montages and the story arc, there's really nothing going on here. Nothing really special with it. You do get your dinosaurs. You do get your Megazord action. You do get a little bit of some Ranger action, but if you've seen the trailer and you've seen a couple of clips where the Rangers are basically fighting the putties on the mining area where the command center was discovered by them, that's basically it right there. There's your fighting scene. It's maybe 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds at best, extended when it comes to the fighting scene, because I'll tell you what's going on here, really. When it comes down to it, you've got your time with the Power Rangers, and by Power Rangers, I mean specifically this. This is what I mean by Power Rangers. You got your Rangers in their suit, and when basically they're inside their dinosaurs piloting them, this is what you're looking at right here. You've seen the actor's face on digital effect suits, and yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, the Rangers are supposed to be keeping their identity a secret. Now, I get it. I mean, they even throw mention at this at the end of the movie after they're done defeating the evil space aliens and saving the day. They even mention that the civilians can't see them from up top their Zords. So, you know, they're not going to have any need to really disguise themselves within their Zords. But with that said, I mean, the whole purpose about this is Power Rangers. And we really don't get that much Power Rangers. We get teenagers with attitude. It's like that fan film I watched like a couple of years back that I just, tell you the truth, I fell asleep on first 10 minutes in, and I just could not put up with it. That's what I'm talking about here. It was a drag. It took a little time for the action to finally kick in. They pulled a turbo, a Power Rangers movie here, where you have all talk and a little bit of action here and there, but you really don't get to the real meat of this product until like 30 minutes before the movie is about to end. That's where all the action comes in. You got the Rangers, and they finally morph. You get your action with them against the putties for maybe 3 minutes at best. And then you get them in their dinosaurs for a little bit, which goes about maybe 10 to 12 minutes. And then, at long last, for the last 5 minutes of the movie, you get some Megazord action against Goldar. And that's basically it. You know, tell you the truth, that's really the review right there in a nutshell, unfortunately. Power Rangers is not a letdown. It's a pretty good movie, but it's nothing that's action satisfaction, and that's unfortunate. I was really looking forward to something better. But with that said, I will tell you this. I did walk in with low expectations, and I was not disappointed to a certain stance. So, again, I think a 6 out of 10 is worth enough as it is for this movie. I'm not expecting this to be a Hollywood blockbuster or anything like that. I mean, it's going to be another one of those movies that comes and goes. And if it ever sees a sequel, maybe they might fix some things, like maybe some more Ranger action time, because now that we got all the story development with all the characters out of the way, now we can get to the real action of Power Rangers, and that's basically the martial arts and the epic explosions and all the pyro and all the spark effects and when the Rangers get hit or the evil space aliens get hit. And let's get some more Zord action in there, longer Megazord battle fights and more putties and more evil space aliens. Maybe some of the actual aliens that we saw in the show, like, I don't know, quick sample, maybe the Pexter or Grumblebee. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see some of them in the Power Rangers cinematic universe, but I seriously doubt we'll get that. But, it's a thought. This definitely led into a sequel. I'm not going to spoil anything for the post credits of the movie, but yeah, there is a little bit of a mention of a certain Ranger that everybody was expecting to show up. And tell you guys the truth, there is one little small cameo with that sad colored Ranger of the original series and his girlfriend, and I'm not going to spoil anything there. You'll just have to see what part I'm talking about in the movie, but basically it's where all the action is coming to a close. So that's really going to be it. I've got nothing else to really say. I think I've said everything. Again, the actors and actresses were great. Elizabeth Banks nailed it. As a matter of fact, she went beyond expectations with Rita Repulsa. She did a marvelous job, but unfortunately, she had to be a part of promoting Krispy Kremes and all that. Krispy Kreme. There was some swearing. There was some killing. There was. No, actually, there was quite a bit of killing, but all of it was done off screen, unfortunately. So I guess it could keep its PG-13 rating. Close, not close enough for something that I was expecting for a more darker, grittier Power Rangers thing. But whatever, it is what it is. So that's going to do it. I've got nothing else to say. I do recommend you see this movie. Hopefully it will get the support that it needs to see the light of a sequel, because I really feel like they can make up for the drag that was this one. It wasn't as bad as that fan film I watched a couple of years back. Like I said, this was actually better. It did get to the point within the middle of the movie, but really all the action came in at the last breaking point, which was that last 30 minutes of the movie. And again, that's like a Turbo, a Power Rangers movie right there, unfortunately. So, was it more phenomenal? Not really. Was it good? Yes, it was. Was it great? Not really. Was it terrible? Absolutely not. So, I wouldn't be judging it very low. I would say a 6 out of 10 is decent. If you can find any way at all to go beyond that, a 7 or an 8, I'd like to see your comments down below pertaining to why you choose so, because I can't find any other way with my opinions on this movie. But you wanted my opinion, there's my opinion. Power Rangers is a thumbs up. It would have been 2 had they got to the point a lot sooner and gave us more action. But as it stands, 1 thumb up. That's all it's getting from me. So 6 out of 10, I think that's fair enough. So that's going to do it, guys. If you have any questions or comments or any thoughts about the movie, leave it down below in the comment section of the video. If you like this review, hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see other things beyond video reviews from yours truly here at the reviewing station. This is your King Redis Power signing off. Thank you very much for watching this, and I will see you whenever you see me.